Hi, this is Stacy with Gooseberry Bridge Farm, and today I'm going to be talking about dried flowers and making wreaths and other things with your dried flowers. So we'll start out with my horribly stained plastic folding table out here in front of my dried flower studio, which is too small to work in. Too full of flowers to work in. I've got some things that I dried mostly last year out here. We have goldenrod that was picked a little bit too open, so it makes it really fuzzy. It does shed a little, but not too bad. If you're talking about dried flowers and you're not familiar with them, shedding is when they fall apart. We don't want that. So I can shake that, nothing's coming off. So that's not too bad. It also loses more of its color. It's yellow normally as it gets all puffy like this. These are just grasses. This one is a bit faded. These were picked when they were older, but I'm going for more of a fall look for this wreath. We've got some straw flowers. These are pretty small, but I'm going for mostly reds and yellows and whites and creams for this, so I'll have to pick through those. We've got, okay, so this is basically like a pile of random stuff I've been trying to get rid of, so that's really generally good for wreaths, except for this bright pink stuff. That is not. This is celosia. This was picked way too late, like at the very end of the season, but it gives it a more faded kind of fall look. I'll show you one that was picked at more of the right stage. It actually looks pretty close to fresh. This is a much this one was still a little bit over mature. You can tell by all these little seed pods, but it looks better. Here's some other celosia, and then this is another type of celosia, but it's kind of fuzzy on the top. I've got a bunch of that here. These were probably like reds and golds, fresh, but they're very fall-like. That's why I have them. Some celosia dries nearly the same color that it is in the field, and then some does that. So you just have to experiment and see. This one was in the bottom of a box, so it's kind of flat, but this will be fine on a wreath because you won't notice. I've also got a little bit of tansy here. It's tansy flowers. This is false aster. It is pretty much a mess dried. It sheds lots of seeds. I'm going to clean this up a bit and use these little, they're basically the part where the flower was and all the seeds are gone. That's a weed, so it was an experiment, and I need some filler. I don't have very much of that though. And this is statice. Normally you would see purple statice. This is kind of a apricot and cream and like a yellow mixture. I'm gonna go show you some of the wreaths I already have made and also inside my dried flower studio. All right, so now you can see why I'm making the wreath outside. I have all of these flowers hanging in here, lots of celosia, which if you've ever dried that, this is coxcomb celosia and this is the plume varieties. If you ever dried celosia, you know that it drops seeds when it dries. Even when you pick it real young like these, they will still drop seeds. Let's see if I can get them to, you can hear it. Oh, not too bad. There it is. I wonder if you can hear that. Now the air conditioner's kicked on. Anyway, so these are, this is all goldenrod, picked at various stages. Let's see if I can get back here. So like these that are more brown, these are still in the process of drying, but those were picked really open and they were even starting to brown on the plant. So those will look fuzzier when they're completely dry. I mean, it feels pretty dry now, but it just kind of keeps maturing. But these other ones over here were not even open at all. So it's more green. The flowers are really tiny. It'll just be a completely different look. It's one of my favorite dried flowers to use in wreaths. It makes a great background and it grows wild all over the place here. Same with these grass pods, seed, whatever, fuzzy things. They just grow all over the place. Now they do drop seeds if you pick them too mature, but these aren't falling apart because they are really young. Now we have, what else do we have in here? I have marigolds. There's lots of marigolds drying. Those were just picked like 2 nights ago, so they're still basically fresh, but these are, come on camera, these are dried. They keep their color though. That turns into that. I've got a lot of coxcomb here. So what I do with all of this is stored in this building, and it is like, there's no good solution. So all these totes are full of dried flowers, and I also have some buckets and milk crates. That's a milk crate. I've got these drawers full of straw flowers, but there's really not a whole lot of good storage options. Hanging them works for a while. I will have this window. I have an insulation, a block of insulation, I guess down there, that goes over that window. I've got the other window closed, and then I have to turn off all the lights. See, those windows are blocked, which makes it really hard to work in here because I need it to stay dark for storage. This is a peony. It's kind of cool, just an air dried peony. I also have a lot of freeze dried flowers, and I have 2 videos about those. I gotta back up. It's too close. But I mean, you can see the storage dilemma. Also got this crate full of things that are definitely too tall to go in the crates. No, totes. In the totes. This is cress, winged everlasting or amobium, more tansy, lots of grasses in there, and this is the goldenrod. And here's another crate. I mean, they're just everywhere. And I have a lot of hydrangeas also, which are really fun. You can pick them at different stages. The white ones kind of wrinkle a little, but they're still pretty. The more mature they are, they can dry just looking exactly like they did on the plant, like this guy. That one was younger, so it wrinkled up a bit. But I don't have a good way to store these, especially because my plants are young, so my stems are short. So they're just kind of laying all over the place. I've got a box of them over here too. And more boxes. This is another box full of hydrangeas. I have not come up with a solution. There's a trash can full of straw flowers. It's just constantly a mess in here. I can work on little stuff, like I've been working on these pressed flower pumpkins. I store my pressed flowers in these photo boxes most of the time because I have too many. I also have this nice little cabinet when I'm not really over the top on my dried flower or pressed flower storage, which if you want to get into drying flowers, let me just tell you, pressed flowers take up less space and they are way less messy. But this is pretty cool too. All right, this wreath is back here in the back of the studio, and I can't really get it out right now, but it is back here waiting to be picked up. It was a custom order. Not really your typical fall colors, but it's pretty. This is the same style roughly that I'm going to be making today. A little bit different, but same idea. Not sure how good the sound is going to be outside, but it just is what it is. Gotta deal with it. I'm getting stared down by the pigs. And Trudy and her babies. You watched my video about the flower field, I think it was, a couple weeks ago. You could see Trudy and her babies there. All right, now I'm going in the farm store. So we'll turn on the lights. We sell dried flower bundles in our farm store. We sell freeze-dried zinnias and sunflowers. We have our pressed flower mugs and these guys, but here are the wreaths that I have in the store right now. I don't keep too many in here because I just don't sell that many this way. I sell more of them by custom order, but these are some popular fall designs with marigolds, a little bit of feverfew, and some goldenrod and grasses. And those are freeze-dried sunflowers on that one. And I will say again, don't forget to watch my video on freeze-drying flowers if that's something you're interested in. There's definitely trick to it. These are dried flower hair clips. I've got these little teacups with dried flowers in them. There's just all sorts of things you can make with dried flowers, but I will tell you they are difficult to transport. Okay, I don't have my tripod, of course, right now. I will be getting that, but the first step is to take this, your wire, which this is a 22 gauge wire, but it actually feels smaller than that. Get to focus. Color doesn't really matter because it doesn't show. And you put it where you want to start your wreath and wrap it around real good. And that is our starting point. Like that, so it won't pull off. And I want to go this way. I like to wrap it toward the center. Some people like to wrap it around the back and come this way. It's completely up to you. If when I put it on backwards and I'm wrapping this way, it just drives me crazy. All right, another thing I do a lot of when I'm making wreaths is like I'll have a whole stem of something. This is just a grass, but it has the pod here, or the fuzzy part. It has some blades of grass up there, and then it has a stem, and then it has another blade of grass. So I'm gonna take it and cut it right there with one hand. It's not gonna work very well because it's my left hand, but usually I can just snap them off. It's just, there it goes. All right, I didn't even cut where I was cutting. Anyway, so this is my stem for the wreath, and then I also, I just dropped it. Okay, all right, so I can take this one and put it side by side with that, and it just makes a fuller stem, and then I don't even need this bottom part. So I can fold it around, and sometimes it's okay to leave it up there like that. Like this, it just looks like another part of the wreath, since I'm trying to make this look wispy. I think the bugs are actually getting louder as I do this, but this is, I'm going to start this. I actually just tucked it in, which you can't always do, but I did this time, and then I'm going to wrap this around, and that will hold it on, and then I will make another bundle to go this way that's going to be smaller, because I don't want as much sticking out toward the middle as is out this way, because I want to make this wreath look bigger, and I don't want it to look like a donut. Hope that makes sense. All right, time for a break from the wreath, and I'm gonna go out and see a baby goat. All the little goats, there's one over there, some ducks, like the mama and baby are in this house up here. So I need to come make sure, hi guys, that the mom is feeding the baby, because she had her last night. And there's the baby. Okay, so what happened is the mom had the baby out in the herd because we didn't know she was due. We didn't know when she was due. And one of the other moms tried to steal her, the baby. Cleaned her off, apparently. The mom didn't get to bond with her. And there, she's going pee. That's good. Anyway, she wouldn't feed her earlier. Mom was actually like picking her up and throwing her. So we fed her a little bottle of mom's milk, and then held the mom and let her nurse, and that seemed to get her interested again. So hopefully she's nursing well. I'm trying to watch and see if she goes back to mom, but it seems to be like it's going better. She's up and around. She peed, and it's been 2 hours since we've held mom and made her nurse the baby. These guys are trying to cause problems. This piece of wood covers this door so we can lock the mom and the baby in this little house if we need to. Hey guys. Mom's finally eating her hay too, which is another good sign. Earlier today she wasn't eating the hay. She would only eat what I brought for her. Just making a suggestion. Come on, baby. Is that your baby? She's still trying to figure it out. All right, so wreath making got interrupted by a little sprinkle, and then whatever, it's not actually raining because that would be too nice, because you can see how brown the grass is. It's been about a month since we've had rain. Anyway, this is fresh celosia that I'm harvesting out in the field. So I was going to take this back over to my table and show you how to tell the best stage for harvesting the celosia for drying. And I also have some cockscomb in there somewhere I can't show you right now. All right, here's what I have harvested so far this morning. I've got a couple bundles ready to hang up, and I need to sort all of this. So, there's one broke. Oh, but it's a heart. So cute. So these, when these break off like this, you can actually just lay it on the table and it will dry. And I'm going to do that because that one's a heart. So the leaves on these dry really brittle, so you can go two directions with that. They're not going to be good to use for much because they will break, but you can get them off easier once they are dry. So but if you leave them on while it's drying, it takes longer for it to dry, and you need to go with smaller bundles, because if you bundle up all these leaves, it's just gonna be a lot more moisture to deal with, and they could even mold depending on the humidity level in your drying space. So this is a pretty good example of the right stage to harvest. This is a first stem off of one of these celosia. It's pretty stiff, so this would make a good cut flower also. Like, it's not wobbly. It does have some seeds on that main stalk, but it's not so much that it's gonna fade or turn another color, because when you pick them way too late, I'm trying to find one. I was actually not picking these for this example, but like this one is similar. I think it's actually the same kind of plant. It has more seed on this main one, and it's kind of starting to turn white. This will dry a little lighter, and it will look faded. I'm going to go to the plants out here and show you. Alright, so my celosia is right here. This was our first planting of the year. So this one, I've cut this hard, but it has some really good examples of what's too far gone for to be good for drying, and this is one of them. So this one, the color is really only left at the tip, and it's starting to fade, and when you dry this, it'll turn a little bit brown right here, and that's fine, really, if that's what you're looking for. Or if you're putting it like in a wreath and only the top is going to stick out, which I do use a lot of that. Like here's some more that's pretty far gone, but it will look better if you pick them like this, less brown. Actually, there's another one. Some of these plants got really dry, and that's why they look so bad, but see, that's all turning brown, but like this would be a good one. So if you want them longer but not like looking dead, excuse me, let's see if I can find any like that. No, I mean these are gonna look better because they're just a lighter color than the dark ones. When they get too old like this, they start to turn brown, where the light ones kind of turn like a light tan or white color, and that could be totally fine. It's really windy out here today. I really like to dry this color for whites because these dry pretty much white, even though they're like kind of a pale yellow now. But see, these are all going to have a little brown on them, so that's why I've not been picking those. And here's another one, like I let this go too far. And on top of it being brown at the bottom and having tons and tons of seed to drop on you, it is also really awkward and long. But if I don't know if I can cut, I left my clippers on the table. Anyway, if I were using this, if I had a whole bunch of them, which I kind of do, what would work well for this on a wreath is you just cut it right here. You can strip this off, see, because these are just the seeds. And then it's basically like that's your stem and this is your flower. So if you waited too long to harvest for drying, you can still do it. I still have a whole lot in my shop that I kind of wipe off the brown part, and then I still have this nice top, depending on what you're going for. So over here, I have my completely dying marigolds. They're still pretty, really, but there's a lot of brown ones. And for drying, the downside to all this brown is that the flowers will sometimes brown while you're drying them and won't keep all their color. Like this flower doesn't have any brown, so this would be a good one to dry. It would be fine. This one looks like something has been eating it. I wonder what that is. Like a caterpillar. I bet there's a caterpillar in there. Or a beetle? I don't know. I don't care. But this one has brown petals right in here. There you go. So that one is probably going to turn it brown, at least on the bottom, which you would think doesn't matter, but it actually does matter because when they dry, the bottom kind of comes forward because you're drying them upside down, and then it looks a little brown, which it really isn't a huge deal, but just if you're trying to select for drying, picking the ones that don't have any brown yet is better. And if they were a lighter color, like Kilimanjaro white or this yellow, these are cocoa gold. This one's like something ate half of it while it was opening, but this yellow color looks worse brown and will brown easier than the darker orange or the cocoa gold. Okay, we're gonna walk over here and look at Gomphrena, which is another favorite of mine. This Gomphrena looks awful. It did not like this spot. It should be 4 feet tall by now, or maybe not 4 feet. 4 feet's like the hoop, but it should be 2 or 3 feet tall. However, it doesn't matter because the flowers look amazing. And for wreaths and things, we can just cut it just down here above a branch. And this is all grown back like 3 times. The plants aren't getting very big. They're kind of happier over here. I'm going to be planting these in a different location next year. But these dry pretty much exactly like this. The whites turn to cream. The colors all stay the same, the purples and pinks, and that's like a lavender, and then I've got raspberry Gomphrena in here. Let's look at what else we can dry. There's okay, so this is my status. It's weeds now. So yeah, I can't even talk about that. It's so awful. I mean, that's what happens when it's like September, it's mid-September, and it's actually drizzling on me right now, which is so annoying because it's not actually going to rain. This is the remnants of whatever hurricane is like blowing cooler air and wind. And anyway, so these are my good marigolds. This is the later succession. So if you are growing marigolds for drying, this is what they should look like. Nice and healthy. These won't brown. You want to pick them at about this stage. Not like completely blown open, but pretty big. I'm looking for one that's like kind of too far, but I don't see one because I've been kind of staying on top of these. But when they're completely open, the petals start to get loose, and that would be the only reason. Like this one is fine still. That would be the reason to not pick them to dry. If the petals are loose, oh, there's one in the middle. I bet that one is Yes, see, this guy is completely open. This actually feels pretty tight still, so it might be okay, but it's starting to decline a little bit, and it's just not the best for drying. It's raining, but not really. Like, it's misting on me. Okay, so while I'm here, so these are cosmos. They do not hang dry. I would say obviously, but maybe you don't know because here we are. But they don't hang dry, but these are my favorite for pressing. I need to come get some. Look, a little bee. I need to come get some of these to press because they are giant. All right, back to, I think I showed you my pressed flower pumpkins. Our zinnias look awful. Okay, let's go look at I'm going to try to show you Winged Everlasting, which is almost dead because it's a spring flower, and here we are in September. And we have over here straw flowers, but yeah, I can't show you when to harvest straw flowers because it's drizzling, so the straw flowers close up tight when it's drizzling. So these look like they're not ready when in actuality they probably are. And they're like, I've never had straw flowers taller than me, and these are above my head. But see, they're all closed up, and that one is clearly open because you can see the middle. So straw flowers, you want to harvest them for drying when they have 3 layers of these petals open. But don't go out early in the morning when there's dew. Don't go out in the evening when it's like starting to get more humidity in the air. Shoot for a time of day when it is dry and a little bit sunny to harvest them to dry, so you know how open they are, because the mist here is, I mean, you can see the leaves are a little wet. It's causing the flowers to close right up. The same thing happens with a few other kinds of flowers that feel papery like that. Like these are all closed up. This little guy looks like he's just the center, and the petals are all facing up, so I can't really show you these either. But ideally on the Winged Everlasting, you would cut it before you see these yellow centers, or just when you start to see them, because otherwise they are brown like all of these in the middle. Oh look, we have a monarch caterpillar. Hello friend. This is Hairy Ball's milkweed, just like this whole patch. I've got this over here for the monarchs, and you can also dry the hairy balls, but I am not doing that right now because look, and there's one, and there's also aphids on them too, which is annoying, but here we are. I don't know if I can find any more. Anyway, they're pretty. Oh look, there's a ladybug. Ladybugs eat the aphids. Good job. There's also some other caterpillars on here. Right, over here I have a weed patch, but I also have some nice celosia there and here. These are younger succession, so these are like perfect for drying. There's no, I mean, there's still some seeds on these, but it's not like a lot. You get all the colors. They are, I could just cut that whole patch. Back around here I have my spring feverfew trying to come back, which I just saw. These, if you can catch them before they start to brown, which I really should have brought my clippers back out here. See, like this one is starting to brown, so that will brown a little when you dry them, but the others will stay white, which is really nice. These are all short because they really should have been torn out, and then they came back. I've also got some more celosia over there. I like to dry all these grass things too, which I know are like dropping seeds all over my my garden, but whatever, it's not like I can get every one of them out anyway. This one, since it's already dropped all its seeds and it's just fuzzy, it's like the nicest to work with, so I'll be coming out to get some of those later to save, and you don't even have to dry them because they're already dry. I've got some more of this celosia here. I'm telling you, this stuff is amazing. So I will show you on this one where this keeps its color really well. This red will turn to more of a burgundy, and the pink does pretty well. The light yellow turns white. The yellow, the darker yellow turns gold. And these guys tend to get kind of darker. Like the more coppery, orangey tones tend to get more, turn more of like a neutral color scheme. They can be even like almost brown, but that's still kind of pretty, depending on what you're looking for. I've also got some back here, some salvia. This guy, these keep their color pretty well. Dry, just hang dry. I need to come harvest those too. I think there's more back in here somewhere, but it's hard to get the camera to focus. This is all Rudbeckia triloba. They kind of went nuts. But these guys are kind of fun too. Your little seed pods. I need to come harvest some. They add a little textural element to your dried arrangements. Okay, so as chaotic as that was, you basically just got the everything that I teach in my dried flower workshop that I do here on the farm. Plus some, because I'm showing you how to make a wreath. But it is misting on me, so I can't actually work on the wreath, because as I showed you yesterday, the indoor space is severely limited. So I really need to work on the wreath outside, and I can't do that in whatever this weather is. I wish it would at least rain enough to settle the dust, but it's not going to happen. Dharma is over there screaming at me, so I'm going to go see what that's about. I think she just wants to come out and have some pasture time. Not like our pasture has much growing here. A lot of ducks. It's pretty dead. I mean, it looks pretty green in the video, but it's not. And there's a lot of, it's just not good. Anyway, I'm going to close this gate so the babies, so the teenagers don't bother her, and unlatch this. Come on. That's what I get for trying to do this with one hand. Okay, Dharma. You can see the rain hasn't even settled the dust. Hello, baby. Here. Show you the baby. Hi, baby. Baby doesn't like the mist. I'm gonna put her back inside. Stand up. I think she's doing okay. She feels like she's been eating. Alright, well the mist mostly stopped in the last 2 minutes. So I'm trying to show you the baby goat bouncing around, but she's hiding behind her mom. I'd also like to see her eat, and she looks like she's been eating, but she's very shy about it. Alright, so it's kind of dark in here. I just hung up all those bundles I dried, and I think I'm going to just end this video. I'm clearly not going to finish that wreath right now, and you guys got the idea. You can also check out my dried flower wreath tutorial video. I will link that here at the end of this video, and we'll see. Whatever I forgot to tell you about dried flowers or any of that, leave me a question in the comments. I'll make another video, and I am going to make a video about pressing flowers specifically very soon, hopefully. I mean, I say that all the time and then I don't remember, but if you are interested in that, make sure you leave me a comment, because that will definitely encourage me to actually do it. Thanks for watching.